Oh my gosh. Oh, you have, I mean, I would say you have no idea, but I know you know because you have kids of your own. And as I'm listening to you, I'm just like, the old me would have shriveled back in my chair listening to you tick off these different things because it was like you were looking at a crystal ball at my life. I mean, I went through a divorce that I didn't want, and I'm not trying to air my dirty laundry or anything like that, but I'm just saying that definitely created a hardship for me. And when I think about what a hardship is, unlike the definitions, which are kind of in a box, to me, a hardship is anything that causes you to be delayed or serves as an obstacle in your path to forward momentum. And when I was going through my divorce, that's exactly what happened. I fell into a rut, I got stuck, and my whole world, as you mentioned, the new frontier that I was now faced with, because I went from two-parent family raising 5 kids to one parent raising 5 kids, having to figure out what does that look like, how do I move forward? And at the time, I didn't know. Over time, thank God, and I mean that literally, God knew my life, and he brought the support in place for me. And we'll talk more about that as we get along in this series. But I want to throw it back to you because I feel like you're on something really big right now.
Well, the hardest thing about hardship, and I want to be careful and sensitive to anyone listening, there's hardship that happens to us, that's completely out of our control. I mean, like,
absolutely.
It just, someone comes into our life, there's an energy, there's an entity that just comes after us in some kind of way. And then there's like, I have a treasure trove of story of self-induced hardship. And either way, the hardest thing about hardship that I found is trying to get out of it and trying to, and what I mean, get out of it, quote unquote, I need to go through this to grow up, grow in, mature, have whatever in things that don't belong in my life in terms of how I respond to life, people in my life, whatever, burn out of my life. And when you're trying to hold on to things, when you're trying to hold on to your comfort, and when you're trying to hold on to people that don't belong, and when you're trying to engineer, that's a fancy word for manipulate. Let's just go right there, right? You try to engineer your circumstances to avoid hardship. That's the hardest part of hardship. My internet just stopped. So I don't know what's going to.
You know what? We gotta keep that in because that's a hardship.
We're still recording. We just had a hardship. My internet. I've got my oldest and his 2 friends here. I've got everybody on the web. I'm about to have a hardship. Put your cell phones, like that, right? Are you hungry? You're bored. That sounds like a hard. There's some toilets need to be cleaned.
Oh gosh, the best part of raising kids is just their spontaneity, right?
Yeah, raising kids doesn't stop. With your life. And you try to stop it, that's a hardship. So I'll probably try to come back to this point. Let's see, because I don't know where we're going to have lost it. The hardest thing about my hardships, whether it was happening to me or I caused it, was my perspective. And that was trying to get out of it. And I'm not talking about legitimately cutting out things that are hurting me, people, working relationships. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about character attributes that need to improve to get to the next level that I don't even see coming. Things that have been planned for my life, for my children, in relationships, privately, personally, professionally, whatever you want to call it. And I've got to grow up. I've got to mature certain things, certain stamina, certain perseverances. I don't know what the word. That's what was the hardest part of my hardship.
Yes. And you definitely, in my opinion, hit the nail on the head, which is something we're for sure going to circle back later on in the series, but it's perspective. I mean, anybody that's followed me, they definitely know about my most recent hardship, which I shared in my fear series, and, for almost 2 years, that I, felt dejected and my perspective was just totally out of alignment. And because of that, oh, I can't even count the different areas of my life where I was experiencing hardship because I couldn't see clearly.